Today we're going to take up Senate Bills 611 and 612 from myself and Senator Johnson. And so we'll testify from our seats for efficiency. So again, just want to thank Senator Johnson for our partnership on this issue, and I want to recognize that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is a very important time for all of us to talk about domestic violence, find solutions, and support victims and survivors. A personal protection order is a court order to stop threats or violence against you. You must show the judge that someone is likely to assault, threat, harass, or stalk you. And there are 3 types of PPOs: domestic relationship PPO, a non-domestic stalking PPO, and a non-domestic sexual assault PPO. A domestic relationship PPO can prohibit the person from entering your home or another place, from assaulting you, interfering with you at your job, stalking you, and more as determined by the judge. This past August, Latricia Brown was stalked and murdered in her workplace by her estranged ex-husband, Mario Green, at Henry Ford Health's main hospital in Detroit. She had been stalked for a long time and was fearful of what might happen next. She had been granted a personal protection order, but that order had not yet been served. And I want to read from her July petition for a PPO. She said, "I have tried being cordial because I feel that the system has now let me down each time that I have tried to make reports on this man. My father was murdered, and now with this situation, I am in mental distress and scared, not knowing what to do and where. I have PTSD of this whole situation. I have to constantly look over my shoulder to make sure this man is not following me to hurt me like he has done in the past with physical abuse. I am asking for help before this goes too far and things are too late." Latricia's PPO was never served on her ex-husband. And on August 22nd, he entered the basement of the hospital, pulled out a handgun, and shot Latricia several times. Michigan is a really unfortunate outlier in the United States, where 43 other states, the District of Columbia, and 2 territories require that PPO service take place free of charge. In Michigan, the cost to serve a PPO can include not just a service fee, but mileage traveled, which can easily amount to almost $100 or more. In fact, costs vary from county to county, so a PPO survivor in one county might have to pay twice as much as a survivor in another county to ensure their safety. The law currently also allows a victim to identify a friend or a family member to serve the PPO, but that can lead to a very dangerous situation. Our bills would require that a PPO be immediately served at no cost to the victim by a law enforcement agency as designated by a judge. The designated law enforcement agency would be reimbursed for the cost of service from the Personal Protection Order Service Fund, which we were very pleased to secure an initial $1 million for in the fiscal year 26 budget. The Violence Against Women Act ensures that a PPO granted in one state must be enforced equally in any state. But victims in Michigan are being left behind if they are unable to pay to serve their PPO. I want to recognize that it takes a lot of courage for someone who is experiencing domestic violence to ask for help, to share details of what one has gone through, put it on paper, file a petition for a PPO for a judge to consider is a truly brave and extraordinary step. And when someone is reaching out for help and trying to protect themselves, we should not be putting up a financial barrier to their safety. Quite simply, it is time that we remove this unnecessary and dangerous barrier for those experiencing domestic violence, stalking, harassment, or assault. The impact of this legislation will be felt not just by victims, but also their families and witnesses like Latricia's coworkers.